Hey guys, Kai from Kaizo Take One here, and yeah, so Kai from Kaizo Take One, like I introduced before, and setup is still not going because I'm still trying to get everything built up for the studio slash office, and I wanted to get this video up. I've done a vlog before, mentioned that I have moved and everything, and I mentioned that everything has been built, but it hasn't gone up yet online. But this video will be because it is going to be about a certain film that came out recently, and I'm going to try and be brief about it and everything, and I'm going to be not linking this film to the anime it's adapted or the manga it's adapted. I'm actually going to be linking it to the Japanese live action film, because I think a lot of the big anime YouTubers have forgotten that there was a Japanese live action film of this. And the film I am talking about is Death Note. Now, I will probably put a poster somewhere on here if I can with my editing software, my phone's editing software, but it is Death Note. Now, first off, like I said, I'm not going to be comparing this with to the manga or anime. I think the best way to compare this with the key elements of the story and characters from that story is to do it with the other live action film that was split into two parts to tell a cohesive story. Okay, so we've got the character like Turner. They decided to have Turner instead of Yagami, so they Americanized it, right? A punk ass kid that was getting paid to do homework for people. So the smart side of Light is in this character because he was doing right and he wasn't cheating or whatever. He was actually writing out people's homeworks with different names on it, and he was actually getting given money to do these kids' homework free of outfit, but probably outfit goodwill. Who knows? He was making a profit off it. So that's where Light changed a bit, but it did somewhat showed his smarts and everything that going on with that. Now, it continues in a much more realistic setting. We've got like cheerleaders and everything in the opening sequence and everything. And also, we have to remember there is also the Death Note drama as well. Right, so the Death Note TV drama by Japan, the live action one, different but they had an element where Light's mother passed away and is dead in the series, but he still has a sister. Now, Light is an only child in the American adaptation. He lives with his father, and his mother was killed by a murderer that never saw justice and everything. So, okay, so Light found this Death Note and everything, and stuff much more realistic as well. That it just dropped down. Well, there's thousands of people around him could have noticed it and picked it up and everything, but Light was the one that picked it up because it just fell by him. And he picked it up, read the rules and everything like that, and stuff like that. So then this character Mia, I'll be talking about each of these characters a little bit later on as well, about how I don't think they are meant to be these characters, because there were some other elements of Death Note that a lot of fans have forgotten as well in Death Note as well, that I've been rewatching the anime and be rereading the manga as well, and I have been picking these up for this purpose as well. And I think a lot of people have forgotten these elements. Now, alright, so this girl Mia and him start using the Ryuk. Alright, actually, after giving it a second thought, because I'm not planning to rewatch this film to do this. This is my general initial thought. I even done a Facebook post on my personal Facebook. I might be doing it on my Facebook fan page as well. Just copy and paste my initial thoughts. Ryuk and everything, like, freaked Light out and everything, and then saw a gruesome shot of the bully that was bullying him and everything and stuff that got Light into detention. But he wrote this bully's name, Death Note, and it was really gruesome. Then these two got hooked up, and then Mia started being very, I would say her character or personality started felt like Light's, or more of Light's Kira personality. A little bit, not too much, just a little bit. L, a lot of controversies on L. He showed up and everything. This is just a brief transition because I didn't really want to remember this film. Really, for my personal opinion, I didn't really want to remember this film. I'm just doing the video for you guys. My personal opinion on it. And everything, and stuff. Yeah, actually, the guy playing L, great. Great for the first scenes. He was sitting in positions. He was picking up phones and everything. There have been some cases where he was still holding the phone normally and not like L does it. I haven't got a phone to do it temporarily, like say this was the phone. He didn't do that. He was actually holding it like a normal phone, but still had like the shakiness that L sometimes had. He was eating sweets, and there were some instances. There was also the hint of him wearing the jeans and the t-shirt. You know, the long white top. That was really there, and that was actually one of the main things that I really did enjoy. That little hint. And he was really great for the first part. As soon as Light started manipulating Watery, and he just wrote Watery in his name, and there was a rule where if you burn that page with that guy's name down, everything. And Ryuk was playing much more the being a Shinigami, a god of death, and apparently was even Jeremy Giants. He done the review, and he also picked up like this because he also mentioned it, and I also saw it within the film. During Watery's scene, and definitely near the end, you could hear Ryuk's laugh, like he was the one doing the causes of death. Even though Ryuk was in the classroom where Light was during detention, he was there to tell Light to put there, but he could have still, even in that sentence, maneuver and manipulated the trucks and everything to do the cause of death that Light written in the notebook. So that's one thing I didn't like about Ryuk, but William Foe did bring in a good performance of Ryuk. That's what I did like. But the character overall, yeah. So, so me ends up dying and everything like that. Nearing the end, Light manipulated her, where her plan of writing the Death Note, because she was getting so wanting the Death Note and so using it for her own gain, and became so obsessive of death of the notebook, and she wanted to use it more than Light and everything. And even Ryuk actually loved it. Said he loved Mia more than Light because of how she's been seen to use the notebook, and that literally didn't really faze me that much. It didn't really honor me as much as possible. It just seemed really no. So she ended up dying via the way how Light done it. Light ended up in a coma and everything, and his page ended up in like a fire pit like a fire drum, and got burnt to his name. So he came alive later on and back to life. His dad's finding out he was Kira and blah blah because of how he discovered that his first murder was the killer of the mother, and he ended up and then started to connect the dots. This is where Light ended up. This was at the end of the film, and I'm pretty much butchered the whole process, but it's pretty much simple of how everything. There was some like teen what was it? I can't remember. Montage. There was like me and Light doing it type of montage, but like kissing, making out, and every time while they're writing the thing and they break up and blah. Yeah, but literally I've notes and everything, and Light ended up discussing everything, how he all thought of this pre-hand and how he managed to stay alive by writing this all in. L went backwards. After Watery's death, instead of being calm and collected and knew what will happen to Watery and stay calm and collective, he went full on psychopath. He literally opened a briefcase with a gun in it and goes, "I'm going to kill that mother effing light." I'm trying to keep this PG-13 and I don't want to swear. So I'm going to kill him. So he went and then started running, driving or whatever, and started running after and chasing a light and everything, and stuff like that. What's really, for me, it's not the character. Even L wouldn't, the proper L, or what I see as the proper L, wouldn't do it. Now this is the thing. Okay, so I've mentioned earlier on that I said I didn't think Mia is meant to be Misa. Because I doubt there's going to be a sequel. If there was a sequel, I can see them introducing the proper Misa Amane into the sequel. Now, Mia can be one of Light's other two girlfriends. He had that Kiyomi in the anime and manga that ended up becoming a newscaster and whatever. Then you had Shiori from the live-action Japanese film's girlfriend. Now, instantly, I was actually connecting this film's elements and premise more to the Japanese live-action film than the anime and manga. And this is because this is definitely when I was watching the live-action Japanese ones with the Viz Media dub on it, because Viz Media did a wonderful English dub for this. It's very rare for me to watch live-action stuff with a dub, but Viz Media's live-action Japanese Death Note movies, a dub was brilliantly done, because I think it's because they're a professional anime dubbing company, so it makes a bit more sense, and everything. So Mia, I could have easily seen to be a rework of combination of Shiori and Kiyomi, because later on Kiyomi did end up wanting to write the Death Note, ended up becoming Akira in the anime, and ended up writing characters nearing the end of the series by and everything. So they could have combined Shiori and Kiyomi together into this and created Mia, while Misa would have later on coming to the sequel, and we will then have two Shinigamis again and two Death Notes. That is still plausible, and that's what I think anyway. I know the Misa, they just took out the S to create Mia. I'm not buying that. They could easily still include a second Death Note into the live action American film, but I don't really care. Okay, now I was watching Double for Anime's review of Death Note, and he mentioned about they couldn't really build up time of the relationship between L and Light. I was thinking when I was watching that video to do this one about that is complete bullcrap. I'm sorry, but I love the Japanese live-action Death Note films. From Death Note 1 to The Last Name and L Changes the World. Not as best as the first two, but it was still a good spin-off film. I'm still waiting to get an official release in the UK of the third film that is a direct sequel to the first two, and is hopefully a conclusion to the first two films. Now, this literally is what I'm more interested in. Right. So he says that they can really build up the L and Light relationship, and everybody knows the relationship between Light and L within the anime, within the manga. A film that is, I've got the cases right here. Well, this is the English. This is how big of a Death Note fan I am. I own the dubs on DVD from America, and I own the English Blu-rays. So let's see, 121 minutes for Death Note and 135. So roughly around 2 hours each film. similar length to the American one for both, and they managed to build up lights and everything. Mind you, they even adapted a lot of the scenes from the anime and manga within the Japanese release into this film. They included a lot of iconic scenes, and I will be talking more about the Japanese films later on, because these are great films, and the ratings go great. Definitely the SFX magazine really did rate it 5 stars, 4 stars from 2 other places, but these are great films. The fact that they managed to condense a 37 episode anime, a 12-volume manga series, and I'm also saying it now, the only medium that has a much more manga accurate ending. I still hate the anime ending of Death Note, because a lot of fans know the difference. There is a difference between the manga and the anime endings. This is the only way to get an actual adaptation. Slightly different because of how they wrote the film, directed the film, and adapted the source material, but still made it faithful to the adaptation as it is. It still has a somewhat closer manga ending than the anime. But where that was a great film, where the Japanese did a better job. Ryuk, any Blu-ray renditioning, they could have tweaked and fixed Ryuk a little bit more. That's the department where the American Ryuk looks slightly better, but that Ryuk looks straight out from the manga. Oh, sorry. But other than that, this was really one of the only times I will say Netflix Death Note film had a lot of potential. They could have actually stick to the series rumors and made it a series, doing pilots first, and if it got good reviews and everything, they could have then continued on with the series, or they could have just waited instead of rushing it, waited and fleshed it out. I even would have gone so far as, I don't know how well the American Ring was, or how accurate and faithful adaptation it was to the Japanese Ringu, that is by the same director as Death Note, by the way, the Japanese ones, or The Grudge between the two. I don't know how many differences or how accurate it was to the Japanese original, but I would have accepted an American adaptation of the Japanese films, even if it's just making it into an American college or university, making light saying in America, keep the whole American westernization of the series and keeping them in America, and just adapting it so it follows the Japanese story a little bit more. It would have worked, I think, slightly better, because this had everything that Death Note means, had everything that the key elements of Death Note within this film is in this film. The killing notebook, the proper rules, the Death Note looks accurate, the characters, the mind battle between L and Light, all was portrayed in these films, and could have been easily adapted for an American audience by making just an American version of these films. But we got something that would have been really good. I went into watching the American Death Note film with a blank mind, and I watched all of it with my wife, and at the end of it, I just couldn't watch it anymore. I literally watched it to the end, and I was like, the fact they had to use behind the scene footage for clips for the end credits, I think that was bad enough. Oh god, sorry. But this, my god, I don't know where they were going with that film. It felt rushed. It felt corny. The only decent thing was Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. The guy playing L was great for the first half he was in it, until Watery died, and then he goes insane and becomes not L at all. Everything But the guy playing L was great. He was great. He was doing everything correctly as L, the right mannerisms and everything. But the film just went complete flat. So for people that are watching this, that are planning to watch it, that have never seen the anime or manga, there is a better live action Death Note film out there. And if you want to go and watch those, just hunt down the Death Note films that are directed by trying to find it now. I need to see if the director's name's on here. No, not on those. Shusuke Kaneko. Watch the films by Shusuke Kaneko. Kaneko? Yeah. Shusuke Kaneko. Because I think he did a brilliant job of capturing what Death Note is, really. For an adaptation from source material, if it wasn't called Death Note and called something else, and you took the Death Note element out of it, you could have passed it up as another Final Destination film, what wasn't centered around a group of kids, friends, and just a senseless of mystical killings. This had the elements of what Death Note should be. I mean, that guy there down the bottom screen without the glare, that guy, he played L great. And even the covers for the first half of the film showed these two clashing. So that was my thoughts on the American movie and my comparison about the other live action movie that was better done in Japan and was better than the American Netflix one. I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Take a Corner. Comment down below what you thought about the Netflix Death Note film. What did you like and didn't like? Because I can definitely say that I've already gave it a rating. Watch the Japanese shit. I can't even remember his name. Shusuke's Kaneko's film adaptation of Death Note over the Netflix one. Or watch the anime or read the manga. All three of those versions are great to watch. My dad watched the Japanese versions of the film, even watched it via subtitles, and he loved the Japanese films. And he never watched the anime or the manga, but he loved the Japanese films. So that's saying something. The Japanese ones captured the element in Death Note better than this Netflix one. Comment down below what you think in the comment section below. I've been your host, Kai from Kai's Take a Corner, member of the universe and the 00 Club. See ya.